Ask me what surgery is like, I send them this video.
Hey there, person watching YouTube. If you're new here, hi, my name is Ajay. I'm an Indian doctor in the UK. If you're already subscribed, welcome back. I love you to the stars and back. So after moving to the UK, I have access to one thing that I didn't have back in India, TikTok. Now I'm not very stoked about it because I'm not a big fan of short length content, but I mean, some of the content should be good, and I've also seen doctors like Dr. Mike react to TikToks and thought it'd be interesting to check out a few and react/explain what's going on. I'm just gonna type in medical school. Let's react to medical school TikToks today. Yep, let's start.
My roommate called his mom to tell her he's dropping out of medical school.
I don't know what I'm gonna do. Mom. I've been studying for 72 hours, eating nothing but ramen noodles just to get a 40 on my first test. Just to get a 40. Do you know how I feel?
Well, the thing is, I don't exactly know what he means by I studied 72 hours eating ramen noodles just to get a 40. If you expect to just study before the exam, then this is what's gonna happen. Like, unlike in school and probably in a few other courses where you can, study just before the exam and expect to pass, or sometimes even get good marks. In medicine, you cannot do that, especially because the subject is so vast, the syllabus is so vast that if you keep it all before the exam, you won't be able to do it. And also the thing is, because everything is interrelated, you can't just study one subject just for the exam. Basically what I mean is, like, when you study one subject, it makes it easy for you to study other subjects because everything is interrelated. So if any of you are medical aspirants, any of you are medical students here, I highly suggest that you guys make a habit of studying every day. It doesn't need to be a lot, like probably just an hour or two every day. Make sure you study and also have fun. What I used to do is I would go to the reading room and study for 1 or 2 hours every day after clinical postings if I didn't have lectures, or if I skipped, bunked lectures, or if I attended lectures. After the classes, I would sit and study for 1 or 2 hours, and then I would go and play with my friends. I would play basketball and football. I was like completely terrible at both of this, but I would just play for the exercise, or I would play cricket, which I'm not bad at, which I'm quite decently good, I would say good at. Or I would come home and play squash with my friends back near home. Something like that, like make sure you study every day, make it a habit. It becomes really easy to do every day, like right after your classes or your clinicals get over, come back and study. Make it a habit. It's called habit stacking. So do one thing after the other, and it becomes easy to follow it over a long time. And yeah, study regularly. It just makes life so much more easier. If you just expect, like this guy, to study for 72 hours eating just ramen noodles, it just kind of gets a bit difficult.
Oh my god, I'm still shooketh over the fact that I only learned in residency that you can actually see chromosomes under the microscope. Like, this is me today looking at chromosomes.
Well, to be very honest, like for a long period, even in first and second year, when we were, meddling with microscopes a lot, like in histology or in microbiology or in pathology, like when we were using microscopes and looking at slides and stuff, I never realized that you can look at chromosomes with special stains. But yeah, that's how karyotyping works, and you can actually see chromosomes. But if someone had shown that back in medical school, it would have been so cool to see chromosomes under a microscope with your eye. It would have been cool, but yeah, I never got to see that. Okay. So yeah, so this is how it is taught for us in first year. In physiology, we have hematology, where they'll be teaching how exactly red blood cells, platelets, and white blood cells look under a microscope. Funny story, we have to prick ourselves to get blood, which was kind of painful sometimes, but yeah, nobody enjoyed doing it basically. So every single week you literally had to pick yourself, get your own blood, either to look under a microscope or to do other tests in the physiology lab. But basically this is how the cells look. The ones here, these are the red blood cells, these are the white blood cells, and like small fragments that you see are the platelets. Not even sure if those are platelets now. Yeah, the small fragments of platelets. Yeah. So this is again in histology, or this could be a pathology slide. So this is how tissues look. Like for example, if you take a cross section, a tissue sample from say an organ, like say the muzzle, or I don't really know what this is, could be a lymph node or something like that. So basically you stain it with two types of dyes. So the one you can see here, the pink one and the purple one. So we stain it to see, like the purple stain is for the nucleus. So basically any nucleic acids will stain with purple, and the pink is for the rest of the cell. So all the purple bits that you can see here are the nuclei contents, and all the pink stuff that you can see are everything outside it. So the rest of the cell, other fluids, secretions and stuff like that. So yeah, it's kind of confusing because there you could clearly see each and every cell, like this is an RBC, this is a white blood cell. It's easy to make out because there are not many different kind of cells in the blood, and also it was at a higher magnification. So yeah, you could clearly see each and every cell, but here it's like you have to see the entire tissue and not a few cells in particular. So yeah, it's kind of weird and it's kind of confusing because there are so many different kinds of tissues, and you have to, you know, literally have to identify what this is in an exam. In histology, we study normal tissues as it is in a normal healthy body. In pathology, we see it, you know, in someone who has the disease, like a tissue sample from some organ which is diseased. So something like, you know, say like tuberculosis in the lung. So there'll be a sample of a cross section of tissue sample from the lung that had tuberculosis. So you see under the microscope and see what you can make out. Yeah, there'll be few structures called granulomas and stuff like that. So yeah, this kind of gets pretty tricky and pretty hard. She's confused. Yeah, the first few days, that's how it looks. It just looks like pink, pink, pink and purple, purple, purple. You're not able to make out much. But towards the end, you sort of start to get an idea. But once you stop, you know, looking at these slides, you swiftly tend to forget. Like, I have forgotten what it is. Yeah, so yeah, that's how it works.
How hard did puberty hit you? Used to fix only.
This is kind of true because I mean, we don't have a white coat ceremony back in India, but what we do have is like the first few days where you're just chilling. Like I remember first 1 month in medical school. So I had my cousin who had been to medical school a few years before me. So he had told me like, dude, the first 1 month, just chill, make friends, network, get to know people, because after that it gets really tough. So make sure you have fun in the first 1 month. So that's what I did. I had a lot of fun in first 1 month, but then the internals came around and we had to start studying. So I started studying, and then it hit me how much there is to study like this. So much to study. At least like, I think on the whole, like the Indian education system, like the schooling is very easy. Like you basically just chill and you pass all of your years. And then 11th and 12th are a bit difficult because you have an entrance exam and stuff like that. But then you come into university, you come into medical school, and it's all like, bam. Now everything is difficult. Now everything is, you know, so much work to do. So I think it's just that first few months of getting used to, you know, having so much work, so much things to do, so much to study. I had it quite difficult initially. Like I flunked my first biochemistry internals. I did not like biochemistry at all, although it is one of the subjects, probably the only subject I've got a distinction in medical school. Quite weird. I don't know why. Probably thanks to Prasad RM. But On the whole, yeah, this is how it hits once you realize how difficult it is. But then once you get used to it, it becomes easy once you have a system in place on how to study, how to manage everything. Sort of once you understand how everything works, it stops being so difficult. So yeah, don't worry about that.
Ask me what surgery is like, I send them this video.
What's funny is there's someone in the background going, yay, yay. The thing is, yes, this is how surgery is. More specifically, this is how orthopedic surgery is. Because you're dealing with bones, which are really hard structures, you have to put a lot of force into, making things work. Like you have to hammer things in, you have to drill things in, take things out. And it needs a lot of physical power, physical action to do orthopedic surgeries. But that's just how orthopedic surgeries are, because when you're dealing with hard structures like bones, you need to put in a lot of effort and force to manipulate it. So I mean, don't a lot of people freak out if they see something like this. Like if I were to do a surgery, an orthopedic surgery, like I'm not an orthopedic surgeon, but let's just say I were to do an orthopedic surgery to some patient, and I do the surgery and I record the entire surgery and I show this back to them, I'm pretty sure they would freak out. But it's all controlled. It's all like they make sure that not much damage is happening to anything else. So don't worry too much. But yeah, this is how orthopedic surgeons work. This is how they roll. Well, this is a good TikTok in a way, because a lot of people, all these medical school creators, they tend to show like medical school as the most difficult thing in the world, like how they are stressed every day, how they're crying, how they're breaking down, how studying is the only thing that they do. But this lady here, she showed she's studying, but she's also going out and having fun. That's how it is, and that's how it should be. If you are like doing a lot more of one thing like studying and not doing much of having fun or taking breaks, you're gonna burn out, and we don't want that. So make sure you have fun, make sure you study as well. Of course, it's a big commitment to study a lot, but end of the day, it's all worth it. So make sure you have fun, have that balance so that you don't go crazy.
Ladies and gentlemen,
My notes.
Wow. Like, how does someone have the patience to sit and make notes which are so organized and so beautiful? Like, my notes were terrible. Like, even when I made notes, like I had the habit of not making notes because I was a bit lazy. But even when I made, because I was lazy, never used to be this organized and not even 10% as pretty as this. So yeah, I wouldn't show you my notes, medical school notes, no. Again, this is one of those TikTokers who make medical school look more difficult than it actually is. It's not all about studying. These people, try to make it look hard just for the purpose of making it look hard. It's not that hard. It's difficult, but it's not just studying the whole day. Like, go out and have fun as well. I think this was pretty balanced. She is making sure she gets good amount of sleep. She's going to bed at 9:30 and getting up at 6 or 6:30ish, which is really good. That should be like an ideal routine. That's what I'm trying to get to, which have not been able to, because I can get up early in the morning, but it's very difficult for me to go to bed early at night because I just like watching Netflix at night. But yeah, that's what I'm trying to get to. But otherwise, it's completely balanced. Like, this is how a medical school student's life should be. Like, she's going to class and she's doing other things as well, and she's studying as well. So it's kind of balanced. Like, I'll probably, include some exercise or going out a bit, but yeah, to each his own. There are many of these that I've already seen, so I have to, skip them when I see them. So I've seen more than 100 by now, so it's quite difficult to find TikToks that I haven't seen now. Kind of true, relatable. Whoa, lot of energy drinks. Okay, probably before exams, this is how people would study, but this is not like every day. I mean, if someone is studying like this every day, either they are really obsessed with studying and they are enjoying studying, then that should be okay, or they're just probably gonna burn themselves out pretty soon. So don't do that. But I've never really studied that much, to be very honest. Yeah, let's move to the next one.
How med school works in 60 seconds. First year. The hardest part about first year is adjusting and adapting to medical school life. Your classes consist of lectures and labs, and outside of that you spend about 30 to 40 hours per week studying. Your grades come primarily from exams, and you have an exam almost every week, so basically it's like it's always finals week. Second year is a little bit better than first year. For the most part, your exams are every other week instead. The hardest part about second year is at the end you have to...
Please stop calling tests as exams. Exams are a group of bigger tests that you take at the end of one big chunk of academic work, either a semester or an entire year. Those should be called exams. Stop calling tests exams. You're not gonna have exams every week. You're not gonna have tests every week as well, unless it's like internal assessment week or something like that, and you have one test every week or one after the other. You're not gonna have a test every week. Like, no course can have so many tests. Like, you might have a few assessments here and there, but this lady is sort of showing like your entire mid school life is gonna be spent on studying and handling and getting through these exams. If someone watches this, they're pretty sure, like, if they want to get into medicine, they're gonna watch this and be overwhelmed and not want to get into medicine. So this is sort of not great information. So yeah, step one of USMLE, people take it in second year in the US. So that's like the board exam. That's like the equivalent of like how we in India, we take the first year and second year university exams after every year. So something similar to that.
The score you get determines what specialties you could potentially go into. Third year is the most fun and the easiest year. It's spent on rotations.
Exactly, like very similar in India as well, but rotations, we have it from second year onwards, but we have it like only for 1.5 to 2 hours, but it happens every day. But I think in the US, the rotations are like more like an entire day or like half a day of just clinical rotations every day.
Rotations are like month-long unpaid internships. Actually, they're more like internships you're paying for. You rotate with different specialties every month, and some of those have a competency exam at the end. By the middle of your third year, you have to decide what specialty you want to do for the rest of your life. Fourth year starts off with 2 more.
That's one thing that I hate about medical schools and medical training in the US and in India, because in the US, like that lady said, by third year you need to have an idea about what residency or what specialty you want to do and be in for the rest of your life. Similarly in India, like once you finish your medical school and finish your internship, and then you have to write the exam, and once you write the exam, you sort of get into one postgraduate course or in one residency, and you're expected to be in that residency your entire life. Like, once you get into that residency, if you don't like it, you can't really change it. You still have to come back and write the exam again, and then you can get into another specialty. But again, you can see how difficult that could be to come back and study for the exam and get a competitive result again. So the good thing about being here in the UK is that you can do all these jobs in every department, like specific departments. You can even get into training, and if you don't like it, you can change later. Might not be in the same year, but you can still like move to another specialty or work in another specialty. There are a lot of people who do surgical training, like do co-surgery training or co-medical training, then they realize they don't like it, and then they move to like say emergency medicine or GP training, or they do emergency medicine and they realize they don't like it or it's too intense for them, and they move to general practice. They do general practice and they want some more clinical action, so they move to surgery or emergency medicine. So the options are much more varied, like you have more flexibility when it comes to specialties here in the UK, and that's something that I really like, and it's one of the reasons why I moved to the UK as well.
Rounds of board exams. You do rotations with residencies you might want to go to called auditions. You apply to residency program, match to a residency in March, and graduate in May.
Yeah, that's sort of how medical school works in the US, I suppose. Alright, so that was it. Hope you liked it. If you liked it, make sure you leave a like and let me know what you felt about it in the comments. Let's have a tiny discussion. But thanks for watching, and as always, take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.